Hi and welcome to your Happiness Safari podcast, your podcast for a happier and more meaningful life. My name is Nadine and I'm so grateful you are here. I'm on a mission to make this world a happier place, and I want to do this by sharing inspiring stories of wonderful people from all around the world with you. I'm in Kenya at the moment, where I will host a yoga and coaching retreat in March. The retreat will take place in one of the most beautiful places in the world on the Kenyan coast. I want to create a place for you where you can relax, detox, and practice yoga every day. We will also have amazing workshops like breathwork, aqua yoga, posture clinics, sound baths, and many more. It would make me so happy if you could join the retreat and give yourself that time to unwind. For more information, just visit my website happiness-safari.com. Today on the podcast, I speak to Martina, a yoga meditation teacher from the UK. I met Martina in 2018 in London when I just had started a new job there. I remember she wasn't in the office the day I joined and I met the new team, but everybody said, "You have to meet Martina, she is such a lovely person." And that's absolutely true. Martina has such a warm heart and I can't imagine anyone not liking her. Martina is looking for freedom and her happy place on earth. She is passionate about her well-being and those around her. She says about herself that she hasn't figured it all out yet, but she chooses happiness in her life. From this episode, you will learn why it's important to prioritize your happiness first, how you can integrate things that make you happy into your busy work life, why it helps to stay away from social media sometimes, why gratitude always helps to feel better. Now get comfortable and enjoy the episode. Hi, Martina. Welcome to this podcast. So happy
Hi,
to talk to
Nadine.
you. Hi.
Really
Uh,
excited to be here.
how are you today?
I'm very good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very good as well. Sun is shining here in Munich, so that's nice. Would you like to tell our listeners a little bit about yourself? And yeah, who's Martina?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Martina. I'm a yoga and meditation teacher. I also have a professional career alongside it, and I'm here to chat about happiness. Such a great topic, and I feel like we could talk about it for hours and hours. So it will be a little bit of a challenge to squeeze it in, but let's see how we get on. I
Let's see.
trust you, Nadine.
Okay, I'm trying to check the time. Yeah, we actually had already like a long chat before, and I guess what we also discovered is that, I mean, happiness also sometimes comes with sadness, or sometimes we maybe discover that journey towards happiness when we are a little bit in a dark place, which is, yeah, totally okay. So I guess, could you tell us, is there a moment where you would say there was like a journey towards maybe happiness, or things that make you happy, or finding yourself, and when did that start for you?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think, happiness is always a journey and it's not necessarily a destination. And I think when I think about happiness, it's not something that it's the same in my head every single day. I think it very much changes day by day, sometimes hour by hour. It's kind of scary how quickly it fluctuates, what makes me happy and yeah, I think there are some common grounds always. So things that always make me happy, they kind of start with myself and with my own well-being. So just clearly looking after myself is a top priority for me. And that means just making sure that my physical and mental and emotional well-being is in a good place. And
Mm,
when that happens, I'm not necessarily the happiest version of myself, or I can be happy, but it's not a guarantee of happiness, but it's a really good starting point. So without that, I think it's really hard to even talk about happiness. So when I feel well enough, then, it doesn't need to be anything particular that I'm doing. It doesn't need to be a life-changing event that can make me feel happy. And I'm trying to look look for happiness in smaller things in life as well. But sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder.
Yeah, that's very true. But I think it's really good what you're saying, that it kind of starts with looking after yourself in the first place. And going to ask you something later about what it is, what you're exactly doing to look after your well-being. But first, I would like to know, what does happiness mean to you?
Yeah, so I think in terms of like how I would define it, I guess it's not necessarily how can I say? I guess at the core of everything, at the core of happiness is my own well-being, like I said, so physical, emotional, mental well-being. And when I feel well enough, then I can go out and pursue my dreams and be happy. And I think a
Mm.
lot of the time it comes down to this personal development and learning something new, trying new experiences, going to new places. But then also another building block is contribution for me. So contributing to other people's lives and trying to do something good in the world. And this is where I feel really fulfilled. I can really feel how that is impacting people around me. And I think if
Mm.
you can, by your actions and by your job, however you call it, if you can help other people be happy, this is a perfect place to be, really. And I
Yeah.
think we get a lot from contributing and giving and helping other people. It's like such a great boost of happiness and positivity. But you can't give until you gave it to yourself first. So,
Yeah.
it
Definitely.
all
Yeah.
starts with yourself. At least that's
Yeah.
what it is for me. But I think that's just quite universal, isn't it?
Definitely. But I think, yeah, it's very good that you say that, because exactly when I teach yoga, I say the same things to my students. I was like, you have to kind of look after yourself first, and then when you're in a good place, you can help others. But I think it's super beautiful that you say that it kind of can give you so much happiness and joy to actually help others and inspire others, or yeah, make others happy. And yeah, it's something really beautiful, because I think if we would all focus on that, like being happy ourselves and making others happy, then we would be all like in
Mm,
a really good place, and yeah, in a much better place than yeah we are now sometimes.
totally.
Yeah. So yeah, would you like to share what it is, what you do to be happy? So what are the exact things? Maybe there are some tools, like also when you're down, or like in general, to actually take care of yourself, as you say, mentally and physically.
Sure. I don't know how you feel about it, but sometimes I feel like looking after yourself could be a full-time job. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be having jobs, but
Mm,
there's a lot that come and play, and you can do a lot to make you feel happy. And I'm not saying that I necessarily do the full list of things every day, and if I don't, then I'm not happy. But I think it's
yeah.
just like a selection. You pick and choose what works for you on any given day. I just try to do as many things as I know that they're good for me. And
Mm,
sometimes I just kind of intuitively listen to my body. And sometimes I push myself because I know certain things will be good for me, but I'm not necessarily feeling like doing them.
yeah.
But I think where it starts is just going back to looking after myself. A really important one is my sleep. I
Mm,
try to prioritize my sleep. It doesn't always work, but I try to be boring and go to bed early when I can, and try to kind of wake up early as well. That's not my natural rhythm, I would say, but I'm trying to work on that. And with that, I'm also trying to have a good light hygiene and not spend too much time on my phone in the morning, first thing in the morning, or last
mm,
thing before bed. um, I think the most important and the fastest way of making myself feel better is just reducing social media and screen times. I know we're like on screen now, but this is different. You know, when you're just mindlessly scrolling down through
Yeah.
Instagram and you just get lost, you don't even know why you're there, and you just feel so horrible. So I've been going on and off social media for like different times, but I guess I've never went off completely for, let's say,
Mm.
months. But I just try to reduce it as much as it's kind of feasible, and it's definitely working for me. And then other than that, I think it's super important to look after your diet. So I try to have a good diet, you know, drink enough water, integrate some movement in my life. So not necessarily yoga, but any kind of exercise or even
Mm.
walking. So simple things like that, breathing as well. Any kind of breathing exercise, I think is fantastic to integrate. So I try to do that as well. Spending enough time at the outside always makes me happy, and connecting with nature, even on a really rainy day or even when it's really cold. So this is super important for my happiness. And then spending time with people that I really love, you know,
Mm.
that I feel like I can have meaningful conversations with and I can really connect with. It's really important, and it always makes me feel happy. But with that, I think sometimes we meet those people who are taking our energy out, not necessarily
Mm.
because they're bad people, but maybe our kind of personalities don't match, our energies don't match. And I think it's good to also know who those people are and not necessarily surround yourself with those people.
Mm.
Also, it doesn't mean that you need to surround yourself with happy people who will always lift you up, but being you know, just being with people that you really love and care about, and that you feel like you have a good connection with.
Yeah. Wow.
So I think I've
So,
said a lot. I've said a lot, but I'm not doing everything every single day. So, you know, it's kind of impossible. That's why I said you almost need yeah, like a full time. This could be a full time job, really.
yeah, yeah. But I think there were definitely lots of like useful things you said. And then also, I'm just curious because you said there's a kind of like a list. Did you actually ever write a list of things, or is that a list in your mind?
No, I'm actually journaling very much, and you know, sometimes I feel like there are so many different ideas, but
Mm.
sometimes you just need to focus one thing at the time or even 1 week at the time. So I would just start with, okay, this week I'll just really prioritize my diet. And then if I feel like it's kind of like under control, then maybe next week, in addition to that, I'll really look after my sleep as well. I
Mm.
think the struggle that I found is you feel like you're doing really, really well, and you're like adding,
Mm.
adding, and you go to week 7 and everything falls apart, and you just realize you're just a human, and you just, you know, can't
Yeah.
do everything and work at the same time. And yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And I think, I mean, that's probably also the balance we kind of have to find because that's what I also felt when I was still in my corporate job where we met actually. And then if you work a lot and you also have a passion like yoga, and I was also teaching on the side, but then you feel like you don't have even enough time, as you say, like for yourself or for your development or for your happiness, because then you also have friends and family you have to take care of. And there are like so many other things. And then the day just has 24 hours. And exactly, you want to prioritize your sleep. So you want to sleep 8 hours and you have to work minimum 8 hours. And maybe because of COVID, you have to commute less now because you can work from home if you're lucky. But yeah, I mean, still, then there's like time you need for like food preparation and all these things. So how much time do you actually have to, yeah, spend in nature or spend quality time with your friends and all of that? So I
Yeah.
think, yeah,
It's always a balance,
um,
isn't it?
it is a balance. But I think it's also good to find kind of ways to maybe like integrate that. And I mean, as much as you can, but we became friends at work. So if you also, you know, when you work, like be surrounded by maybe positive people, and I know you cannot always influence that, but then that's a great gift. Or if you actually, yeah, I mean, trying to eat healthy, you know, you try to eat healthy no matter where you go and how much time you have. And I realize that as well when I'm traveling. It's like much harder to eat like healthy things because there's sometimes just no healthy food, really. Like they're not really healthy, super healthy options. So kind of preparing that and being mindful of that. And yeah, but I also find like super interesting what you said about like social media and being actually less on social media. And like, how do you do that? Because I know that you're also, because of your job, and especially like as a yoga teacher and your own, like website and Instagram, and like, how do you do that when you actually have to be on social media? So you cannot really delete your Instagram because you use it for your work.
Absolutely. It's a challenge. I've always been saying that I'd love to work with somebody who can actually help me with social media, because it's so toxic for me that I would give a lot not to be forced to do it. And there's so much good energy and inspiration that comes from social media. But I think the most important thing is to be in control and to feel like I go on social media for this amount of time because I feel like it, because I want to. Maybe I'll allow myself this mindless scrolling, but having it under control and on your terms, and not having need to be forced. I think a lot of people running online businesses are unfortunately forced to it, and then they are being sucked into this negativity loop that comes with social media as well. And I really didn't want to be part of it. So I'm very lucky that I have an amazing friend who's helping me with social media, which means that I can choose when I'm using social media. So it's much easier just to dissociate myself from it. It doesn't mean that I'm anywhere close to deleting it from my phone, because I just don't see that kind of possible, at least not for now. But it means that it's not very toxic. It's just like a kind of like normal app on my phone, like every other app. There is this no negative association with it.
Yeah, I think that's super good. And it's actually funny because this year I read a book. It's called How to Break Up with Your Phone. And that actually kind of teaches you more. It's very much about mindfulness and being mindful, as you say, and like how much do you actually use the phone, or how much do you use apps and social media. And I mean, the book recommends actually to at least delete the apps for like a week or so and see how it goes. But I guess without it, like one tip I find useful is also to have a limited time where you can use it, and you can actually like put that in your settings in your phone, and then you get a reminder, or actually the app locks basically, and then you can't use it anymore for the rest of the day. And ask yourself, how much time do I actually want to spend, or need to spend, or allow myself to spend? And then you just put a timer in, and then you just don't spend more time on it, and that's basically it.
Yeah, totally. Is that working for you?
Yeah, no, I am doing that actually. I mean, what I also did is I really turned off all my notifications on my phone, but for a long time actually. I mean, I have no ringtone, no vibration, no alert, nothing at all. So I usually put my phone in a corner, and then just when I actually need it for something, then I take it and then I open the app. And I mean, if I have the intention to reply to my WhatsApp, then I do that, but I'm not in the middle of something and then getting distracted because somebody is like trying to message me, or like it's not pinging all the time. So I think that's helping me a lot to be less on the phone, and just when I decide that I want it. Because I do the same thing in the morning, that I'm not using it. I'm like worse in the evenings though. There I'm still, and I know it's also affecting your sleep if you're actually on screen. So then I just have the darker mode basically in the evening, because it's also kind of bad for your eyes to look at the blue light. In the morning I have that, like, I'm not turning on my phone for the first hour, and I'm trying to take time to meditate and to read and to maybe do some yoga, or just make myself my lemon water journal, and do things like that.
One more thing that I remembered, I'm sure that you're doing that as well, but a really quick pick me up is just either writing or thinking of what I'm grateful for in that day or that hour, wherever I am. And that always, always helps. There was not a
Mm.
single time when it didn't help. And you can feel the most sad or upset, but if you turn things around and try to look for the good and things that you're grateful for, it can definitely transform the way you feel.
Yeah, that's very true. Like gratefulness is really, kind of, I mean, don't want to say the key to everything, but yeah, you cannot really feel sad and grateful at the same time. And there's always something you can be grateful for. And I think that's probably also actually a really good tool you could use with other people. So if like people are sad around you, or you maybe have, I don't know, like a boring or energy draining conversation, you could actually ask someone, what are you the most grateful for in this moment or in your life? And then people will at least like start to think about it, and that will change something. And that will probably also change something in the current relationship you're having, because you're turning it to something like beautiful and positive.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So then, maybe I should rephrase the question. It's like usually the last question is, what is your happiest moment in your life? But you could also say, what was the moment you were most grateful for in your life? Or maybe it's both. So yeah.
I think it's a hard one, because whether we're talking about gratitude or happiness, there is no one single thing, like one moment that made you really happy or feel that you're really grateful. I think a lot of the time when I felt happy was when I felt like I'm a strong and independent woman and I can do what I want and nobody is telling me what to do, and just feeling kind of liberated and free to live my life the way I want to live. And that happens, from time to time when I feel like this. I felt it quite strongly when I was traveling solo in Australia and New Zealand, and I felt like, this is my time and I'm in control and I don't really need any people around me. Not to say that I was isolated, but just to be your own boss and live on your own terms and decide where you want to go and what you want to do, and just do it your own way. So, and this is just one example, I guess, but it doesn't necessarily mean it was, the happiest moment of my life, but this is just one example.
Yeah, but it is a good example. So yeah, when you're feeling like independent and free, basically, and you're in your own power. Well,
yeah, very empowering.
Thank you so much. It was so nice talking to you. And wish you all the best pursuing your happiness for your journey.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So lovely to be here.
I hope you got some inspiration out of this episode. If you like to connect with Martina, you can find her on Instagram or visit her website. It would make me so grateful if you enjoy listening to this podcast, if you will leave me a 5-star rating and a review wherever you're listening. For more information about me, the podcast, the retreat, how to connect with me or Martina, or to find out more about one-on-one coaching, I will put all the links in the show notes for you. Don't forget, happiness is the only thing which doubles when you share it. So please share the podcast with your friends and your family and help me to make the world a happier place. I wish you a fantastic day. Be happy, be bright, be you. Love and namaste.